Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today we're taking a look at the brand new ZK-383 submachine gun for the medic class in Battlefield 5. This has just become available through the new Lightning Strikes DLC for the game via in-game missions. You have to play a bunch of squad conquest and complete a few missions there. It's not hard to get. It took me about an hour and a half of playing before I unlocked this weapon. This weapon was manufactured in Czechoslovakia during the war, and the Germans used it primarily. It's very similar to the other SMGs, both in Battlefield 5 and just that were available at the time. It's very similar to the Sten, to the MP28, MP34. They've all got this kind of barrel design. They look like just giant pipes with a magazine sticking out the side. One way to sort of differentiate this one from the others is that the magazine port is a little bit canted upwards, so it looks slightly unique. And it's the first medic weapon to come with a bipod. You might also notice that my magazine has gone invisible here. That is an in-game bug. Improves visibility, I guess. You don't have a big magazine blocking your field of view, but yeah, hopefully this will get fixed at some point. Now, when it comes to specializing this weapon, most other medic weapons have a pretty clear decision of what you should do. Some guns are just better at hipfire, some guns are better at aiming down sight accuracy. This weapon really gives you both options depending on what you want to do. You do have to specialize it in the direction that you want to go, but you can have a slower firing, more accurate SMG, which is how I have it spec'd right now, with an extended magazine. It's got a 40 round mag. You can see that mag is even bigger, but it only shoots at 514 bullets per minute when it's in this mode, which is a very, very slow time to kill. Meaning if you're going to be running and gunning a lot, well, you better hope you get the first shot off, because this weapon isn't going to do you any favors. And although I wouldn't say it's terrible in this mode, if you are going for a slower firing, more accurate SMG, it feels kind of like the MP34 is a little bit better in this regard, although you do have the bipod option. The downside is that you kind of pay for the bipod with this gun, right? There's not a lot of circumstances that I want a bipod on my medic rifle. There's very few circumstances in which I'm like, if I only had a bipod here, or hey, I can put up my bipod and kill this guy at range. Most medic weapons have very slow moving rounds, so it means moving targets at range are going to be particularly difficult to hit. So you do have that as an option, but personally, if I was going exclusively for the long-range option with the medic class, I would go for the MP34 because it's just a little bit better geared for that specific style of combat. Now, if you switch up the specialization tree to the left side for faster rate of fire and faster reload with some other cool perks in there too, you get a weapon that is comparable to the Tommy gun in terms of its damage output, and it's a little bit more controllable. That being said, once you go to the 720 round per minute rate of fire upgrade, which is a substantial upgrade over the 514 over 200 round per minute upgrade, you are going to feel quite a bit more kick with this weapon, and it's going to be harder staying on target. It's going to require a bit more skill to mow people down, but you have a very quick reload. It's a hard balancing act between this and the Tommy gun, because if you do most of your kills while aiming down sights, then you could argue that this gun is better, although it only has a 30 round mag, where the Tommy gun can use a 50 round magazine. So pretty big difference there. The Tommy gun also has better hipfire accuracy, so if you like to run a gun, really get in close quarters and deal with multiple targets, then the Tommy gun's probably a bit better, where this one is a bit better for ADSing and killing 1 to 2 targets. Although you can upgrade it with that very fast reload, so it's not to say you're limited to 1 to 2 players. You just have to reload your gun more frequently. So it's certainly an interesting weapon. You could make an argument that the Tommy gun's better. You could make an argument that this weapon's better. It kind of depends a bit more on your personal preference. I think maybe after the bipod implementation is in this game and the bipod gets maybe easier deployed or more auto-deployed when you're aiming over ledges, it could be made that this is a more fun run and gun weapon and gives you more versatility. And generally speaking, that's a really good thing. You can't always predict what kind of combat you're about to run into. Even if you have a map that's mostly close quarters, you might run into a long-range alley or something like that, and this weapon will generally adapt pretty well to most situations. It's not great at long range unless you spec it for the long range combat, but again, if you spec it that way, you may as well go the MP34. So I recommend the left side specialization tree and just use it as a very high damaging, close medium range weapon that's a bit better with ADS than some of the other SMGs in the game, and it'll sort of bend to most situations that you need it for. I like that a lot. The Tommy gun will look a lot cooler and perform a lot better in those exclusively close quarter situations, but as soon as you start pushing that range out a little bit, then this gun's gonna do a little bit better. And so that's kind of where it stands. It's more versatile. It sort of has carved out a tiny little niche for itself, and it's got a bipod, oddly, which none of the other medic weapons have. So in the rare chance that you might take advantage of it, well, you have a slightly more accurate medic rifle, which again, I feel is almost a useless feature on this weapon, but you know, you might take advantage of it here and there, 1 or 2 kills a game. Now, in the great company coin drought where you really have to decide what weapons you want to upgrade and what you want to spend your company coin on, would this be a gun I would recommend going for? Well, it depends what your build is. The ZK-383 is versatile. You could pick just one medic weapon and have it be the ZK-383 and then specialize it to specifically what your needs are. Make it either more long range or more close range oriented, or you could specialize 2 different weapons. You could get like the Tommy gun or the Suomi for close range, and then the MP34 for long range, and switch between those 2, whichever your preference is. The versatility certainly has some value behind it if you like having a weapon like that, or if you just like specializing to be really good in one specific situation and kind of garbage in all other situations. Well, this probably isn't the weapon for you. I like it. It doesn't have that insane power or the iconic visuals of the Tommy gun or the Suomi with its crazy fast rate of fire and 50-round magazine. Those guns are very powerful and cool to watch in close quarter combat exclusively, but they're a bit painful as soon as you push that range a little bit further away. This gun is just nice. It feels pretty usable in most situations, and that can be a nice thing. Again, it's a medic weapon, and it does get outclassed by most other things. You're gonna kind of rage when you're going up against assault players using the 1907. I mean, that thing is a beast, and it's gonna beat you in close range, it's gonna beat you at long range, and it's gonna suck going up against that thing regularly. So that's just kind of the plight of the medic class right now. You've got some good weapons, but most of the other classes have better weapons. A lot of people were hoping for some sort of semi-auto rifle coming to the medic class, and sadly that's just not happening. And here I've stolen a Tiger tank using the ZK-383, which is funny. Somebody got out of a Tiger tank, a full health Tiger tank mind you, for whatever reason. I have no idea why players do this in the game. Like it blows my mind that somebody's like, oh, I'm gonna get out of my tank and fight this guy on foot. Like, you couldn't do anything worse in Battlefield 5. I almost feel like if you spawn into a tank or get into a tank, that thing should just be locked until it explodes, because you can do just way too much damage to your own team if you are a bad tank driver. Now, because we're getting another SMG for the medic class, and the medic doesn't have any other weapon types to alternate between, it is a little bit underwhelming getting yet another SMG that looks very similar visually to many of the other SMGs in the game, and performs kind of in between a bunch of the other guns that already exist. So it's getting a little boring already in terms of the weapon variety for the medic class, which is really disappointing. All the other classes in the game have at least 2 different types of weapons. The support has 3 different types of weapons, and then within those 3 types, it's got a lot of different options. The medic is the only class with only 1 primary weapon option right now, and it really kind of limits your play style for the most part. Yeah, you can be sort of a medium range medic or a close range medic, but it's really not that big of a shift up. There's not too many different ways to play this class, where again, the other classes give you a bunch of options. You can be an aggressive recon player or a long range recon player. You can be an assault player that's spec'd mostly to take out vehicles, and you have weapons spec'd more for long range semi-auto rifles. Or you can be an assault player that's spec'd more to take out infantry with very aggressive close range weapons. Support's got all these options. You can go shotgun, you can go prone hardcore machine gunner most of the game, or you can get more of a versatile light machine gun. Like, you get all these cool options with the other classes, and then the medic's like, well, you can be better in close range, or you can be better at slightly close medium-ish range, and then the rest of it is just put down smoke and revive your teammates. Like, you don't have a lot of other options with the medic class. You can't spec it or push it in any one direction very much, and the ZK-383 doesn't expand that very far. So I hope DICE has got some plans to make the medic class more interesting in the long run. As you can see from the scoreboard, I absolutely destroyed it with the ZK-383. It's a fun gun to use. I recommend trying it out for yourself. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.